Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing an advanced tactics guide. So what that means is we're going to single out a unit, go in depth on how to properly deploy, employ, and utilize that weapon system. So if you like military strategy, tactics, and doctrines that get applied to strategy games, I guarantee this is the channel for you. So make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. So let's start with the absolute basics. We're discussing the Recon unit today, and we're going to highlight two things, the vision and the stealth modifier. As you can see, the Recon unit's vision is much further than the other units. So if we hover over the APCs or the Leopard tanks, we can see that its vision is almost double, or at least 700 to 800 meters more than these vehicles. This one's 2100. The Leopards are only 1890. And as you can see, the stealth modifier is at 0 for some of these vehicles. While the APCs, the armored personnel carriers, do have a small stealth modifier, the Recon units is much greater at 200. So now we need to deploy this unit. We're also going to deploy some Leopard tanks with it, because ideally what we want to do is we want to spot the enemy before they spot us. With this unit on the battlefield, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to hold fire. So now to talk more about that stealth modifier that I mentioned earlier. For that stealth modifier to take effect, a unit needs to be in some sort of cover. So what that means is it needs to be in the trees, it needs to be in these villages, it needs to have this little defense icon when moving into that area. That means there's cover and concealment in that location. If there is no cover and concealment, that stealth modifier will not take effect, and your unit will be spotted. So ideally, why we do this is we're going to couple it with this E key. So a lot of times your units are going to stumble upon the enemy way before they spot them, which means you're going to generally get trapped in some sort of assault or ambush, and they're going to shred through your units. So what we want to do is we want to spot and identify those units first, so we can utilize this attack icon. Because if we hit this E key, your units are going to move all the way until they either identify someone or until that unit takes fire. But if we spot the unit first, we can utilize that E key and we'll identify them first, and that means we'll attack them from our maximum range. So let's continue to move our Recon units into position, see if we can spot anyone or see anything. If we hold the shift key, we can see where our line of sight ends, where it begins. As you can see, we can't really see out past this tree line. So we're just going to continue to probe the front lines, see what we can see, and hopefully we can get a unit identified so we can deploy this strategy properly. And as you can see, we discovered a unit and immediately our tanks began engaging them. But one thing we need to make note of is artillery fire is eventually going to rain down on our units. Our Recon unit continues to probe the line, but our tanks need to be moved. So we're going to pull them back because there's lots of ATGMs raining down on this unit. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull in our own artillery and make use of it. That looks to be a BTR team. A reverse move would have been much better, but we're well, so if we hold the shift key, we're well. Ooh, wow. That was a good old rocket attack. We're going to drive that unit out. Ideally, the artillery wasn't a good weapon to use on that position. I want you to make note of that. Ideally, what we wanted was our napalm strike. So we're going to save our napalm up. Oh my god. We're going to try and drive this BTR out of this location. It looks like dismounted troops and riflemen. We are hitting them from the flank, so they should be a bit suppressed from this location. I'm not quite sure what's hammering us from that area. So if we get our artillery online, we can start counter battering, and we're going to move this unit. Remember, fast move prevents our units from going through forests or going through towns. They'll always attempt to navigate around that town. Alright, we're going to continue to hit the E key, and we're going to push this direction, which means this unit will engage from its maximum distance if it has line of sight, as you can see, right? Since we have this unit spotted, we should be able to engage way out of its range. So we could bring this unit back here to engage. Now, typically what I see a lot of people doing is they just push way up here, but now look how far back we're engaging. Like, absolute madmen. Honestly, skirmish, all we have is a bunch of sidekicks. Skirmish, in my opinion, is my least favorite mode. So we'll deal with what we have to deal with, unfortunately. Our recon unit is still hidden, but our tanks are still driving this unit out of its position. We're going to get some artillery onto that position since our counter battery drove that artillery out of here. And we're going to hit the reverse button because we have artillery falling on our tanks. Once our napalm's up, oh, nope, we drove that unit out. We can begin working on this next unit right here that's currently entrenched. So one thing to make note of is that napalm is extremely, extremely useful for driving out entrenched enemies. So we could actually hit this unit with a battery. We have 4 more points. And the next thing we're going to get online is our... Oh, we already have air up. So let's get both these units over here. Our anti-air. And let's get another set of tanks on the battlefield. So it looks like we lost sight of that BTR over there. Let's see if we can re-identify it. If anything, we'll drive along this tree line and just slowly work our way up. I don't want our tanks coming into contact with that unit. Let's get all these units in place because we know it's there. Let's see if we can get it to start targeting us. Alright, tanks in position, tanks in cover. We should be able to see that unit in my opinion, but we're going to see. Let's see if we can move this recon unit up a bit further. See if we can get that unit to come back online. I think our artillery is a bit off, and I'm going to move it over here because he's getting counter batteried. We always got to keep that artillery on the move. I wonder, did this unit get driven out of its position? I doubt it did. It looks like it, but we're just going to keep moving forward, seeing what we can see. There's no way that unit, it's there. Alright, unit's been identified. Tanks are engaging. And now we're going to drop our napalm on it. So there's actually a minimal low threat area right here. So once that napalm's up, it's going to be absolutely awesome. And we're going to bring these units back. As you can see, they're being engaged by ATGMs on the flank. And we're going to do a reverse, because that's going to keep our units front facing the enemy. And we're going to watch this napalm fall onto this unit right here. Weird, it said there was a low low threat right there. Clearly that was a lie. Right click to click off that. That unit's still engaging at its maximum distance. And we're just going to pull these units onto the battlefield. And now our pacing in our battle is much better. So if we want to grab these 2 units right here, select both of them, and we hit the E key, we can say engage all the way up to there. We can get our artillery back online. And we can just slowly and methodically play out this battle and just push our way through. Once these units are able to engage from their maximum range or have any sort of vision on that, they'll be able to engage that unit. As you can see, our stealth modifier is still active. We're going to have this unit move up. We're going to have this unit move up with the E key as well. Everyone's going to move until they start engaging. Artillery is going to fall on those 2 entrenched positions, and we're going to drop artillery right here. We can't really get them on both. See? ATGMs are firing. These tanks are firing from well at their maximum range, 2,100 meters right here. So still the issue is the same as before, is the ATGMs outrange a lot of this armor. So it makes it extremely difficult to penetrate the lines. Obviously, we don't have our full fighting force on the battlefield. That was never our intention, was to have everyone on the battlefield all at once. It was to demonstrate how to properly utilize this recon mechanic and how it's beneficial. Yep. And just like that, as they bring their air in, everyone's under fight, and we're actually battling at a much greater distance than you'll see in a lot of YouTube videos. You'll see a lot of YouTube videos where they're like engaging from like here, this tree line to this tree line, when they should be engaging much further out. As you can see, a lot more units are popping up on our radar now. We're going to get these units right here. We're going to hit the X key. We're going to get everyone dismounted. And we're going to start breaking this front line down. Breaking the rest of these units. And we're going to call in another artillery strike and just drive everyone out of this position. And this front line's basically ours. And now we're not really grinding our units down to a pulp. They're engaging units at a much more favorable position. We're able to spot them beforehand, and we're just able to just isolate and destroy units as you go one by one by one. We continue to move up. Let's get our tanks into position and just slowly and methodically from cover to cover work our way through this town, conduct some small urban warfare tactics, see if our artillery can hit this unit way off out here in the distance. I doubt he can, but as we drive through this area, as you can see, we have another unit. So we can select all three of these, hit the E key since they all identify this unit, and they'll engage from this range. Instead of like clicking on it and then taking each individual unit and doing excessive amounts of micro. We could pull this unit back. He's at 44% artillery or ammo. Not super concerned. We just got clustered. Artillery will be on deck momentarily. Not exactly sure who's spotting us, why that mobile artillery is isolating our artillery. Still trying to drive this BTR out, and we'll finish the video once we secure Bravo. Obviously, this can be done at a much faster pace. We just want to demonstrate a lot of the effective usage of this tactic and how to utilize the recon. So we could continue to move that unit up, and then now that we won that battle, we're in Bravo. Right. Bravo's ours. We can get ready to position up here for anything that we see, and we can just work our way through Alpha. We have this recon unit over here in this position. Right, looks like we're getting shot on the flank. We're going to rotate our units. And we're going to secure this first position. Overall, that was just a brief overview on how to utilize the recon units and what to do with them. So ideally, it works much better in operations. Skirmish is kind of a crazy little show because there's so much artillery and tanks and everything. Now we have our recons identified 1, 2, 3, 4, like 7 different areas. So realistically, we should probably pull a lot of our units back, retreat that unit, retreat this unit, have this unit dig in a defensive position, get this unit out of the open field, put him possibly over here on this right side, and just battle on, man. Fight on. That recon unit's already almost destroyed. These BTRs are almost destroyed. We're going to drop artillery on those. What are those? T-64s. Other than that, guys, peace out. Have a wonderful day. Real quick, real brief video. And we're getting artillery. Always fun.